Shalom and greetings from Jerusalem. Jane, again making an update here in my bedroom, which also happens to be a bomb shelter. The Israeli military estimates that 2,500 armed to the teeth, demonic evil terrorists, that's my word, entered Israel last Saturday morning in a frontal attack on Israel that has been planned for more than a year. That's what they admit themselves. They came in the air, they came to the sea, and they came on the ground. The only way you can describe these terrorists is to compare them to Nazis or to compare them to ISIS. And you're saying, Jane, how can you say that? These are people from the Gaza Strip. They just came over the border. You want to know who Israel was dealing with? Do you know who we are dealing with? Let me show you. These are images of Israeli babies who were burned by these Nazis, Hamas terror organization. I know it's graphic, but you need to see this. 2,500 terrorists came into Israel. The Israeli military estimate that about 75% of them was with Hamas, and the rest is affiliated with other terror regimes in the Gaza Strip, including Islamic Jihad. They came in, and some of them were having pamphlets, booklets in their pockets, manual instructions from ISIS, how to rape, how to mutilate, how to decapitate Jewish children, whole families, raping their women. One of the terrorists that was arrested admitted, "We came to rape your women." That's what they did for hours and hours and hours last Saturday morning. 1,300 people was massacred, whole communities destroyed. People were being killed when they threw hand grenades into bomb shelters. Houses were being set on fire with whole families inside. People were being burned in their cars. The horror you can't imagine. I'm going to speak from my heart because I'm not a journalist who was sent here by a media outlet and being censored. Many of the journalists who is flying in now to cover this is horrified, and rightfully so. I saw an American journalist who was in the kibbutz where 200 bodies were found, where 20 children was handcuffed behind their back, and they were shot and burned to death. And he says, in my life, I have never seen anything so horrible. So the world is waking up to the atrocities that happen towards the Jewish people. It's going to cost billions of dollars to rebuild Israel, to rebuild all of these communities completely wiped. I'm going to say something now that for some people are saying, you can't say that. I absolutely can. Many of these journalists are coming now, just covering this, as horrendous as it is. But already now their focus is shifting from what's happening here in Israel. There are still families here in Israel who don't know where is my loved ones. Then there are the families who is burying their dead. You have to remember, so many bodies were mutilated, and they need to identify, just try to identify these people. It's a huge, horrendous work that's taking place right now, just trying to identify the bodies so they can be released, and then their loved ones has to go to the funeral. We have funeral upon funeral, and we will have funeral upon funeral. On top of that, nearly 200 IDF soldiers was murdered. Many police officers were murdered. But already now, many people's focus is already on, what about the civilians in Gaza? There was a journalist asking the Israeli president yesterday in a press conference, what is Israel going to do to protect and to spare 2.2 million civilians inside Gaza? It's an absolutely outrageous question. Israel has and always has done the uttermost to spare innocent civilians in Gaza. Israel pinpoint terror targets in Gaza. They have always done that. Israel is calling up people and say, evacuate, we are going to bomb your building. Who does that? What other nation does that? And Israel has been doing that also now. Israel has now given people in the northern part of the Gaza Strip 24 hours to evacuate to the southern part of Gaza Strip because Hamas terrorists are hiding in underground bunkers in the northern part. And this is where Israel, the next step is going to happen. Who does that? Who gives people in advance when you are in a war? Listen, what did Hamas do? What did all of these Nazi terrorists do? They crossed the border to murder as many innocent civilians as possible. Is Israel doing the same? Are they just carpet bombing all of Gaza? No. They're telling people, evacuate, evacuate. We are going after the terrorists. Don't believe the lies and propaganda about Israel is just bombing innocent civilians in Gaza. And let me tell you something you also don't hear in mainstream media. Over all of these years when I have been working in Israel, I have reporting about terrorist attack. Who is glorifying these terror attacks when Jewish babies are being murdered in the street? The civilians in Gaza. They celebrate, and they also celebrating now the atrocities that just took place here. The genocide, the murder of the Israeli babies, the desecrating of their bodies, the murder and the burning of people alive. They are celebrating that in Gaza. They encourage it. Is it everybody? No, it's not. But many of the people inside Gaza are behind Hamas. And now they are crying because Israel is going to go in and bomb. And in a war, there will be civilian casualties. But I am telling you, Hamas has a huge support amongst the Palestinians inside the Gaza Strip, in Jerusalem, and throughout Judea and Samaria. You have many, even Hamas members. Someone was just, they arrested 25 Hamas members overnight in Hebron. So these are the things you need to remember. Israel is doing everything they can to spare the lives of civilians, even civilians who is encouraging and applauding the massacre that we just saw here in Israel. Israeli Defense Forces are mobilizing troops, moving tanks up to the Gaza border. They are preparing for this ground invasion. Anthony Blinken was here yesterday. The defense minister from America just arrived literally 30 minutes ago. He's going to meet with the army, with the prime minister, and Israel is going to say, this is what happened to us. This is a murderous, diabolic, demonic, evil terror regime who time and time again has attacked Israel and sending rockets. And now this happened. We need to once and for all eradicate this evil terror regime. Any other country would do the same. Israel has to finish once and for all. Enough is enough. Any other country will do the same. So Anthony Blinken was here yesterday. Israel's defense minister is here now. Israel has given the people in the northern Gaza Strip 24 hours. Evacuate, evacuate, we are coming, evacuate. Who does that? Israel does that because Israel goes after terrorists. And the terrorists, they murder, they brutalize, they rape, they decapitate the Israeli people. So things are very tense. On top of that, Hamas has called for a complete nation, not just nation here in Israel, but worldwide day of rage. They have told Muslims to storm to Jerusalem and up on the Temple Mount. They have told everybody to just go out in the street and to join the people here in Israel, join our fight, join our fight. They want to see a civilian uprising and attacks against the Jewish people, which we saw about a year and a half ago. You want to know who Hamas is, these ISIS Nazi terrorists? They don't have the civilian population in Gaza. They don't want the best for them. Then they will say, you know what, we're going to be attacked. Move, move. No. They are out now saying Israel is lying. No, it's just propaganda. Because they want the civilians. They are hiding amongst the civilians. They want them. It sounds horrible, but this is how diabolic they is. They want the civilian there. One, so they can hide between them, behind them, but also because then they have the propaganda. Then they have the whole world who can say, oh, Israel is bombing innocent civilians. You need to keep your head straight. You need to know the facts. This is who Israel is dealing with. On top of that, nearly 200 civilians was pulled into the Gaza Strip, including foreigners. They are right now sitting hostage inside the Gaza Strip. We can't even imagine the horrors they are going through. And they are in the Gaza Strip right now. And they are going to be used because the Israeli Defense Forces have said, when we are done with this operation, there will be no more Hamas members. And we are going after the leadership. And the leadership knows this. So they took these hostages because they knew Israel is going to come. So these hostages are going to be used as bargaining chips for the leadership of the Palestinians. So when Israel is targeting in on the leaderships, they can say, if you let us go, we will release these hostages. Yes, that's how evil and brutal they are. They burned our babies. They decapitated our young people, our soldiers. These are Nazi terrorism. And this is what Israel is going in to eradicate. Don't fall for the lies and propaganda. When there's going to be hard pictures coming out, this is going to be bloody when Israel is going to go into the Gaza Strip. But this is war. This is war against a brutal terror regime. And let me end by saying this. The Iranian foreign minister came to Lebanon. He is in Beirut and he's meeting with Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah. And now they are talking about Iran, Hezbollah, when are we going to start firing rockets into Israel? They know that if they do that, they are going to be met by the full frontal attack by the Israeli military. But everything is on high alert up north. Israel is going to get ready to go in, not to touch the civilians. There will be casualties because Hamas is using them as shields. But you have to understand also, many of them are supporting Hamas. They are supporting the brutal slaughter of the Jewish people. We have seen it time and time again. And remember this as the last thing. Every single year, every summer, including this year, 50,000 children inside the Gaza Strip are in military summer boot camp, being trained as soldiers, how to murder Israeli civilians, how to murder Israeli soldiers, how to kidnap Israeli soldiers, and it goes out to the whole world. These are the innocent civilians that they are screaming about Israel is massacring. 50,000 children every year in military boot camps, being trained as the new Hamas members who need to go and murder and burn the Jewish people. Please share out this video for the whole world to know the truth, especially now when Israel is getting ready, maybe within the next less than 48 hours, to go in a ground invasion to take out terrorists. Israel is saying enough is enough, and Israel has every right to do so. Day of rage today. We'll see how everything plays out. I will keep you updated. Thank you for following me on all my social media. If you're only following me on Facebook, you're missing out. If you follow me only on Instagram and YouTube, you're following out. I am sharing so many things on my Telegram channel because it's uncensored. Please find Jerusalem Jane, download Telegram, find my Telegram channel, Jerusalem Jane, for all the latest updates. United, we stand with Israel for such a time as this, God's holy land. The promises to Israel and the Jewish people stands forever. Bye.